Welcome back to Broken Bobby's Transformation Page. If you are new to the page, in 1990, I became involved in the drug gang world. From 92 to 06, I spent a lot of time incarcerated. I tell these stories to let you know it don't have to be you. If you're young and thinking about trying something, or you're figuring out how to get out, these are my stories of this lifestyle and how it affected me, and eventually I got out and transformed my life. So let's get into today's story. All right, guys, as you can see by the thumbnail, this one is prison hustles, and there's a ton of them. So there's lots of different ways to make money when you're incarcerated, and we'll get into a few of them on this video. Unless you have family that's really taking good care of you and sending a lot of money and packages and stuff, you got to find a hustle in there. You know, they feed you breakfast and a sack lunch for lunch, and then dinner, but it's really not enough. Even though prison, you get fed better than you do in the county, still not enough. So if you're new to the channel, subscribe, smash that like button, drop a comment, let me know what your hustle was in there if you had one, and share this video. It helps us to grow. We're doing really well. We've been growing really well lately, and we're on our way to 1,000. So yeah, don't forget to subscribe if you're new. So let's get into some of these hustles. Now, if you are an artist, you can draw pictures. You can I remember there was a guy in LA County Jail. He was drawing Mickey Mouse, and my old lady liked Mickey Mouse, so I had him do an envelope for me with Mickey Mouse smoking a cigarette. But, you know, that was like 2 or 3 items or something. An item at the time was $1. So, you know, that could be a soup, that could be a bar of soap, whatever equated to $1 in that time. Also, a lot of these guys that are artists will do tattoos. That's a really good hustle for inmates because, you know, if you do good work, there's decent money in it. I got a few tattoos in there, but it wasn't, you know, any of the top of the line artists. Sometimes if you get lucky, you'll get a celly that tats, and if you end up on a lockdown or something, you can get hooked up, you know, but, yeah, that wasn't the case with me. So other people, they'll make crafts like picture frames out of, they make them out of like the chip bags, the shiny inside part. Like they'll cut them up into little diamonds and make picture frames to go around pictures that you may get, which, you know, pictures are really important when you're in jail because it's your glimpse to the outside world, basically. Some people will make necklaces, like one that was big as they were using like the thread from maybe the boxers or a blanket or something, and they were making little cross necklaces. You know, it seems like in the county jail, when people are fighting big time cases, they get very religious. And this isn't a knock on that, you know, whatever works for you, whatever brings you to your higher power. But yeah, that was a big time hustle in the county. And you know, then you have other guys, they'll do, they'll have like a store, basically. So say you need a couple of soups until, you know, the next canteen draw, you know, they'll give you 3 soups, but you got to pay them back double up. So, you know, if you're running that store, that's a good hustle. You know, you're definitely going to keep food in your locker. Now, other ones I've seen, some people cut hair, and some of them end up with the job of cutting hair, you know, and going around, and you buy a little ticket. And, you know, at the time, I think it was like $2 or something. And then, you know, the inmate worker will cut your hair. But other people will take like the comb, one of those little black combs, and they'll put a blade in it and hook you up with a fade or whatever it may be. You know, like when I was in there, I never paid to get my hair cut. I just got out the Bic and domed it up pretty much. But that's a hustle for some people, you know. Some people do braids. If, you know, you want to get your hair braided or whatever, they'll braid you up. I even seen one guy doing massages. I thought that was in McFarland. I thought that was really strange that a man was massaging another man out in the open, but apparently he was some sort of massage therapist or something, and, you know, it was legit. So, hey, it is what it is, you know, like you got to have a hustle to eat. So that was his hustle, and apparently he was making some money on that, so that was cool. Now, some people's hustle is gambling. Now, this is a little more dangerous as far as some of these hustles go, just because if you're gambling and you don't have the money to cover it, you know, you could end up with some holes in your body that you didn't originally have. I'm just saying, you know. So that's one of the more dangerous things to do while incarcerated, especially if you don't have enough to cover the debt that you're incurring. I've seen tobacco just about everywhere. And actually, when I was in McFarland, there was a guy, he was getting a couple pouches a week, and he was kicking down to, you know, the big homie that, well, for that yard. You know, I wouldn't say he was a big homie in the grand scheme of things by any means, but, you know, he had the keys basically. So he was getting kicked down like maybe a half a pouch a week, and he was kicking me like a third of that because I was in the circle, if you will, in this place. Like I said, wasn't any place special. It wasn't like we were in Pelican Bay or something, you know, like it was just a very low level place that we were incarcerated at, and the tobacco was flowing. So, you know, that was a good one. And with the portion I would get, I would have somebody get rid of that for me and keep my locker as full as I could anyways. A third of a pouch don't go that far, but when you consider that a cigarette was like a few drops of tobacco, like it kept me fed, you know. Now, I also, obviously, there's drugs in there, and that's one of the higher end hustles. You know, like there's tons of money to be made on that. I don't have any real first-hand close experience as far as that goes, but I know it was available just about everywhere I went, and it was really expensive, you know. So, I mean, there's guys that are making tons of money on that, and there's various ways that they facilitate that. You know, obviously you can only take so much canteen before your locker is going to be full and you're going to start drawing attention. So, you know, there's other ways of getting paid on that sort of thing. And before I wrap up, one other thing I want to cover on this prison hustle topic is nowadays there's cell phones floating around in there all over the place, from what I understand. This was not going on when I was still going to prison, so I don't really have any knowledge on that, so I'm not gonna speak on that. But I hear they're all over the place. You know, these are a few of the hustles that were really popular when I was in there. If you had a hustle when you were in there, drop it in the comment. Let's see what you were doing to stay full, basically. You know, I hope you guys enjoyed this story. You know, family, fitness, and freedom are what helped to get me away from this sort of lifestyle and having to worry about what my hustle was going to be next time I got locked up. And, you know, it can help you as well. Remember, it's just making good decisions. And one thing I haven't mentioned before is, you know, when you're faced with a decision, play the tape all the way through. This is a, you know, program saying play the tape all the way through. And what that means is if you are trying to decide whether you should do something or not, think about what the potential consequences are and ask yourself, am I willing to accept those consequences for the action that I'm taking? If you're not willing to accept the consequences, then maybe you should make a different decision. So that's my video for the day, guys. I hope everybody enjoyed it, and I hope everybody's enjoyed their weekend and is off to a good start on the new week. I'll probably go live later on tonight for a while, probably around 8 p.m. And, you know, we'll see what's cracking with that. Don't look at the mountain. Just start climbing.